Alrighty. I'm very excited. Oh, you guys, I hope everyone tuning in, you're impressed with how fabulous my tech skills are becoming. There is no more bumbling around going, what am I doing? What am I doing? Well, sometimes there is, but not like they used to be. So I'm very excited to be going live today with Terry Heath, who is such a mover and shaker, you guys. I am so impressed by this guy. I think you're going to be too, as you hear him talk about his many adventures and all the things he's planning for the future. Terry, you're not the kind of guy who just rests on his laurels, it would appear. You're a busy man.
Well, I don't have a lot of laurels to rest on.
Well, it's really great. And Terry is the owner of White Rabbit Books, and you're going to hear more about that. Hey, Nancy's already, and Nancy, you're always the first one here. I appreciate your timeliness. Nancy's coming in from Wisconsin. Hi, Kathy, coming in from Northern Idaho. Thanks, guys. I'm so glad you could join us today. This is going to be a very fun conversation about being an entrepreneur and about books and upcoming book events and all kinds of interesting things. So I'm glad that you're tuning in and joining us today. And I see some of our Instagram gang is already coming in. So, hey, thanks for coming in. Glad you joined us. I think you're going to get a lot out of this. Hi, Susie. Glad you could make it. And we're going to jump right in. I'll try and make sure I holler out greetings as y'all come in. Chelsea's made it. Hi, thanks for coming. So glad you're here today. And I am talking with Terry Heath, who not only has done the bookstore thing, he's still a bookseller, and now he is into planning events. And we're going to talk a lot about that. But Terry, I want to let's give people a quick introduction to you. What your life has been like for the last few years. I know for a while you had an indie bookstore, and then you decided I'm going to pivot a different direction. Tell us a little bit about your adventures with doing that.
Mhm. I started a bookstore in 2022 on Independent Bookstore Day. I opened. I had a store back in the early 90s, used bookstore, and then I went into teaching college English for a while and wanted to come back to the store setup. So I did that. I was a little nervous with the way bookstores, are not doing like they did at one time. Um, and I thought, well, there's only, at the time, there was only one other bookstore in Port Orchard, and it was all used books. So I thought Port Orchard could handle another bookstore. But then since then, there were others that liked the same idea. And we had, at one point, 4 bookstores. And I think there's 4 now again in little Port Orchard, which is says it's 17,000 people, but
That's a lot of bookstores for a small.
yeah, that's a lot of bookstores,
Yeah.
and I think the city limits is liberal, so yeah, they don't all shop in Port Orchard. But anyway, um, so I tried a lot of things during that. I've always enjoyed the events, and so I just finally thought, well, instead of sitting here waiting for people to come in and watching my yard overgrow, and my house need repairs, I'll go take care of those things and do the part that I enjoy, which is the events and the interacting with larger groups of people and making things. I like making things. I'm a serial entrepreneur, I guess. Um, I'm almost like been there, done that. I'll make something and I'm okay, well, now I'm bored with that, so I got to do something else. And I built all my shelves in the books last location of the bookstore, and they were real nice and everything. And then it was okay, well, now I don't have anything else to build. And so I started trying building apps. Not a programmer, but that's never stopped me before. and and so I thought, what if I still had a bookstore, but it just didn't have a lease, didn't have walls, did all the fun things like the author events and the workshops and planning all that and promoting all that. So that's what I'm doing. Last Saturday was the last day in the retail space. We had a closeout sale, and so now I'm packing that up and getting ready for our first event where you will be
Yes,
in
and we'll get to that in a little bit.
yeah,
Uh,
well,
which is
try to
it's going
bounce
to
it
be
back to you.
it's going to be very exciting. But I just love the fact, you guys, that he's so always so willing to pivot. We're going to get to that here too and talk to him a little bit more about that. Let me just quick a shout out. We've got a lot of people who've come. I see. Oh my gosh. Anne Marie is here, Cindy's here, Becky's come, Eileen and Mary and Patricia's here, and my songwriting buddy Ed is here. Hey, you guys, if you're ever wanting something fun, well, I'll probably plug this when we do Christmas in July with some of our fun events. But Ed and I wrote such a fun song for my book. It's a classic now, Merry Xmas. And if you ever go on YouTube and look for Merry Christmas Mama, you can see me getting hauled off by Santa Claus. It was very fun doing. And Ed and I are still writing songs together, so it's fun to see him here. But let's circle back to Terry. I just wanted to really quick before we get into some of the things you have planned. You mentioned teaching college English. Have you yourself ever thought of writing a book?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm somebody who likes the idea of have written more than writing.
I hear you. I hear you.
Um,
It's fun to have that finished I think we're a little similar that way. I think like me, you like a good party and you like to do the events and all the interacting with the people and all
right.
that fun stuff. And I kind of get that because that's part of the fun of books is talking about our books and meeting readers and obviously you probably met quite a few readers when you did have your bookstore, which I think is just really it is very interesting, all the things this guy has done, you guys. So, um, so obviously you were a reader growing up, probably. Did you have favorite authors?
Hmm. I was afraid you'd ask that because I never know what to say. Um, I actually, because I like to do things, I read a lot of how to do things,
Mm.
a lot of nonfiction, um, because well, I don't know. I read recently that since I'm an Aquarius, I guess Aquarians like collecting knowledge, and
Oh,
that's the whole water symbol thing. It's not the water like you think of the water represents knowledge, and um,
hmm.
that's always been me. I always want to know how to do something else that I haven't done yet, and then once I've done it, like I said, it's kind of been there, done that, and I want to do something else. So I read a lot of how to. Well, I told you I wrote some apps, and so I had to read how to do that. And when I first opened a bookstore back in the '90s, I had to read how to do that. And
That's amazing.
but I did my master's in English, so I had to do a lot of reading for that. But those were more of the classics, um, and I enjoy a lot of the the classics like the Jane Eyre, which you
Oh,
hinted
yes.
at the reader eye reference in your post earlier today. I noticed, um, but I read the Dresden Files. I read whatever catches my interest at the time, but it's always changing.
But I think that's great to read across genres and to read different types of book. I think that it enlarges our knowledge and expands our horizons. And I'm like you, I really love to read nonfiction too. Hey, you guys, for any of you out there who have not signed up for my newsletter, Super you can hop on over to sheilasplace.com and sign up. But the September newsletter is always a roundup of interesting books to expand our knowledge and our learning. It's our back to school issue. And so if you're wanting to know what I'm reading right now, oh boy, I'm reading some really interesting stuff, I gotta say. And I think it's really nice if you read a variety of fiction and nonfiction because the fiction expands our imagination, wouldn't you say, Terry? And
Yeah,
the other
oh,
expands our
definitely.
knowledge. So
Yeah. Well, and if
very,
you want to write, you have to read how stories are told and different ways stories can be told. So yeah, you have to read the fiction for that. You can read, how to write fiction, but it's kind of like, telling a Martian how to put on a coat, that exercise that you have to do in all the breakout sessions of seminars. Um, if you
yeah,
don't read
there
stuff,
does
you're
come a point when you got to jump in and just try it.
Yeah,
With
you
without
had to.
AI, you guys, without AI, you all know how I feel about that. Jump in there and do it on your own. Read and learn, and study the different writers that you like, and then kind of go and do your own thing. But you can learn a lot just from reading other writers. And I imagine you have to have done awful with owning bookstores. You have to have done a lot of reading, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, people always, well, what are you reading? And I have to tell them, well, right now I'm reading how to build an app or something, and they're never too excited about that. But
They're like, whoopee. Ah,
yeah,
so
but I see what other people are reading, and I say, well, I don't know, but this is really popular right now, and that kind of became my go-to for, well, what do you like? Well, I like I like romance. Well, I happen to know
mm,
this book just came out and it's very popular, and um, that's the nice thing about having a bookstore is you see what people are buying.
good point. Good point. And tell me again, why a bookstore? You just figured, well, I like to read and I like books, and I think people would like having a bookstore in town. Is that kind of how that evolved?
I always liked being around books when I was
Mm.
a kid. So I grew up in Port Orchard,
Ah,
and
okay.
yeah, actually, the house I'm in right now, my parents bought in 1964. Um, and
Oh,
they're gone now, but I have the house now, and trying like I need to put trim on the closet door behind me there, but there's always something.
yes,
But
there
yeah,
is.
I grew up here, and I used to walk downtown to the library just to look at books and how to raise a horse or how to breed parakeets or whatever caught my interest at the time.
Wow.
I never had any of those, but
But if you had, you'd have been ready.
I'd have been ready, and I knew what was what with that. And then there was a bookstore downtown for a while too that I used to go in and just kind of absorb the atmosphere. And then I'd volunteer for the library at school, and I just always liked being around the books and
Mm,
just seeing what was going on in the world, and um, what was what people were thinking about, and what I now the 70s when I was growing up. I remember all the little the artwork, like the oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank now, but like the gnomes books and the uh, cats posters. I don't know if you remember those, like
oh,
the
yeah.
little bitty head and the huge body, the cats, or that kind of stuff. I liked the humor books with all that stuff in them, and Garfield when he looked different, entirely different. And yeah, so I just liked being around books, and I never stopped. I had the store in the early 90s. I just liked putting all the books on the shelf and watching them all come in and out and see what people were reading. And
That's
back then
great.
they'd buy bags of books because they were trade books, so they'd bring a brown bag of books in, and people like Linda L. Miller's mom and Debbie Macomber would come in and buy their back copies to send to their fans, and it was just fun to be part of all that.
No kidding. It really is. Oh, you guys, and before I forget, speaking of books, there's always a giveaway for those of you who are here with us live and commenting. And I just happen to think it might be good to have a beach read since we're in summer. And so, comment if you have not read Beachside Beginnings as part of my Moonlight Harbor series. Comment if you would like to have your name put in the hat, and we'll pick a name later, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and somebody will receive a copy of that. We'll just send it to you right from Amazon. So if you would like to have a copy of that, make a note here somewhere, and I'll put Gerhart to work drawing a name. So let's move on back to Terry again. Now that we had our commercial pause, uh, I'm curious of that. Okay, so White Rabbit. How did you come up with the name White Rabbit for your book selling? Is it got to do with Alice in Wonderland or what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She followed the white rabbit down the rabbit hole, and there were all kinds of adventures. And that's what happens when somebody introduces you to a book. You follow
Oh,
them
I
down
love
the rabbit
that.
hole and have adventures.
And by the way, you guys, his company logo is adorable too. It's this little rabbit reading. It's just, I love your logo. It's just so cute. Very
Oh,
fun. Well,
thank you.
let's move on to Reader Eye. And that's the same thing. So Terry's going to do this cool event here next month in July for those of us who are in the Pacific Northwest, specifically in Kitsap County area. But I'm going, Reader Eye. What the heck is Reader Eye? And after explaining it, I went, oh, but you need to explain to guys, okay, what is with this? Why did we name this upcoming event Reader Eye? And then tell everybody what it's going to be and what it's all about.
Okay. Well, Reader I comes from the line in Jane Eyre, I think it's chapter 38, the beginning, where she says, Reader, I married him. And
Mm,
so what I thought was important about that line is it's where a female character, especially in those times, is taking agency, taking charge of her life. She didn't say, Reader, he married me. She said,
oh,
Reader, I married him. And I came across that sometime and it just stuck in my head. And I think a lot of women's fiction today is in that same spirit of the woman having her own agency, having her own
mm,
choices in her life. And so I thought that was appropriate for modern romance. It's not the half-dressed people on the cover anymore. It's women's fiction. I almost don't want to call it romance anymore. Um, and I thought once people knew what it meant, they might respond to that idea.
I think that's darling. And boy, I tell you, this is the era of the woman. Women are just doing so many things, and romance is definitely having a moment, which is very exciting. And so the focus of this is going to basically be on women entrepreneurs, women writers, books by women and about women. Is that a good
Mhm.
summary? What else would you say about this upcoming event?
Yeah, well, that was kind of the guideline that I asked the authors to go into it with, women's agency, and I think you're still doing the talk on following your goals. Is that still your plan? I don't shouldn't have put you on the spot there.
No,
But
I
yeah,
think so. You know, I said I was
so
going to
far,
do something.
something like that. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was definitely the idea. Because romance fiction primarily has a female audience, and I'd
Mhm.
be silly to try to say any different. Not that men don't read it, and not that men don't write it, but I would suspect a lot of, if there are men that write it, they probably adopted a female pen name or something nondescript, because it's really viewed as a woman's genre. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and so I just decided to go with it. Don't apologize for what it is. That's what it is.
No, and well, and it's interesting because this genre has changed a lot, just even in 20 years, which of course that's a long time, but not really when it comes to things changing, because sometimes they change very slowly. But way back when romance was first a thing, it was always the woman, she was the governess or she was the secretary, and then in came the guy on his white horse and rescued her. And these days, our heroines pretty much do their own rescuing. And so when they're getting together with somebody, they're coming together as equals and as partners, and
Mhm.
it's not the damsel in distress. You don't see that anymore because we're
Mhm.
women are just so more independent and able to take care of themselves, but they still want love, and they still want a hero that's who's worthy. And I think that's a lot of the direction that we go. Our women, they're in the books, they're getting together with warriors and movers and shakers, but they're warriors and movers and shakers also. So I think
Yeah.
that's an interesting change.
Well, and even if you look back at Jane Eyre or Jane Austen, the women were taking their own destinies. They weren't waiting to be rescued all the time, you know. So it's kind of going back to that in some ways.
Yeah, Jane Eyre, I mean, that was a really good example of, I'm, I may be poor and I may not be as beautiful as that other babe that you've been chasing with the fortune, but I am still my own woman,
Hmm.
and don't treat me any less,
Yeah.
which was that was pretty advanced for that era because women just didn't have a lot of rights back then. And
Yeah,
in
she
Jane,
advertised to get a job when she wanted a job. And that
well,
was
yeah. But in Jane's time, I mean, it was, you were either a governess or a shady lady. There was no going out and having a career. Women, you were marrying, you were uniting estates or whatever. And the fact that Jane was a writer and actually made money as a writer is
yeah,
pretty exciting for those of us who are writers. She was very ahead of her time, and I think that's pretty exciting. But
yeah.
so we've got, I know you have, well, first of all, let's throw out the date. This is coming up in July. And where is it going to be and when?
So it's July 18th, and it's in downtown Port Orchard, a space called Backstage Alley, which is right next to the Polaris Theater, which is a historic theater that a group is working to renovate.
Okay.
So there was a empty lot next to it that they've turned into an outdoor venue. So it's going to be in there. Um, and it's got a little stage, and we'll see what happens.
Well,
Hopefully it'll be
yeah.
surrounded.
Well, I know my friend Susan Wiggs is going to be there speaking.
Right.
So that will be fun to hear Susan. She's just always a great entertainer and speaker and always has a lot of wisdom and interesting things to say. So I know she's going to be really good. I know you have some other authors lined up too. And I
Right.
believe you also are telling people, come, we're going to do a book swap. You're going to have other writers there selling their books also, correct?
So the event with the other writers selling their books is a week later in Bremerton.
Oh,
Uh,
gotcha. Okay, so this is going to
yeah.
be basically come here speakers, talk about romance. And is the other one also the book swap then, or is this just come and hang out, get some good food to eat, and let's all visit?
So the reader I and I need to promote it more so people understand, but I'm hoping people will bring books to swap.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Uh,
that's a
that's
great idea.
yeah,
Trade authors, let somebody discover a new author, right?
right. Yeah. Then a week later, that event in Bremerton at Quincy Square, it's the seed of what I call book folk, which
Okay,
is going to be a regional literary festival. Next year they won't be so close together, but I had to go with what was available for
sure.
dates this year
Yeah.
and and authors and all that. But that one, there is a romance author over there for that one too, Christina Braver. But J.A. Jance will be there and some
Oh,
other.
wow. I'll be there to see. She is hilarious. Oh my gosh, she's fun
Yeah,
to listen
she
to.
actually came to my store back in the 90s and did a reading. And
Oh,
she
that's so
remembered me,
great.
which I couldn't believe, but she did.
Oh, that's fabulous. That really is.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
she'll
she's
be
a
good.
really neat lady.
Yeah, I'm
But
seeing a few posts here. People wish I could be there, wish I could live closer. And yeah, well, there will be more in the future. And you know what? It is vacation season, guys. There are some great places to stay in Bremerton. And boy, downtown Bremerton is a happening place now, I must say. And Port Orchard, of course, for those of you who are Debbie Maycomer fans, a while back they had Cedar Cove days. And Port Orchard is a charming town too. So either one of those places, you can find fun places to stay. And maybe you want to do a girl trip. If you don't too far, if you're within driving distance, maybe it's time to think of doing a girl trip weekend and come on up and check out both of them. I'm putting in a plug for Bremerton, of course, because that's in my backyard. But Port Orchard is really, it's just a cool little town. Oh my gosh, they have a huge antique mall, which is very cool. And so fun places to play. So sometimes it's just fun to organize a little girl outing and go do something. I did something just a few weeks back with girlfriends. We went to a nearby town and did an overnight. And if any of you were on Instagram and saw those posts, that was so much fun. Oh, I got to say hi to Nancy Brolin, who's joined us on Instagram. Hey, Nancy. Anyway, it's always fun to do a girlfriend trip. So sometimes we go, oh my gosh, I can't afford that. And maybe you can't for this year, but maybe you can plan ahead and start budgeting to do it. Also, I know you guys have heard me talk before. We're doing that fabulous readers cruise up the East Coast to Canada in September in 2027. So you have time to save your money for that too. You can always eventually, when we save our pennies, we can make those goals happen. So start thinking ahead now to what you want to do and what you might want to save money for. And speaking of saving money, let's talk about the other thing that you're planning. For those of you, I know some of you out there are aspiring writers, and has Terry got a deal for you? So tell us about the other thing that's in the works, Terry.
Yeah, next February of 27, we have the first Inkhorn Writers Conference. This is a 2-day conference in Bremerton on the waterfront in the Kitsap Conference Center, which is a really beautiful place right by the ferry. So if you made it as far as Seattle, you could ride the ferry over, and there are hotels and restaurants and everything right there. The big win for me on that is we got Debbie Maycomer as our keynote speaker. So she'll be speaking on the evening of the 20th. And we will open up to those who don't go to the conference. We will open up general admission tickets as well.
Is that a one-day conference?
It's 2 days.
2 days.
It's Saturday and Sunday.
Okay,
yeah.
2-day conference for those of
Yeah.
you. And Debbie will inspire you, I've got to say. If you haven't heard her story of how she got started, I'm not going to steal her thunder by telling, but she has got a fabulous story of how she started and built her career. And I think that will be really, really inspiring for people. So something to keep in mind. And again, that is in
February 20th and 21st of next year. You can get early bird tickets right now. They're on our website. If you go to whiterabbitgo.com, I'll do a little plug there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You can also find where Sheila is going to be next week and all that, the parking information for that and everything, which you do, if you are coming to that, you do want to look up the parking information because the farmers market is going at the same time. So parking in Port Orchard is a premium on Saturdays.
Oh, that's a win-win though. My goodness, you've got a farmer's market and you've got a fun reader event there in July for that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's going to be very, very, very fun. And so White Rabbit, I know you're here on Facebook. If you're on Facebook as just White Rabbit, they use the little magnifying glass and look for you. Do they just put in White Rabbit?
If you put in White Rabbit Book Company,
okay.
Okay. You can find it from there. I tried to get something shorter, but I guess White Rabbit's pretty popular.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Oh, okay, so that's here on Facebook, and then again, you're on Instagram. Are you on Instagram? You are.
Yeah, same handle there. White Rabbit Book Co. at Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, and then the website, I assume same thing, whiterabbitbookco.com?
Yeah, you can go whiterabbitbookco.com, or you can just remember whiterabbitgo.com.
White Rabbit Go.
Go, because it's like follow the rabbit, you know?
Okay, right. Oh, so that's part of it, whiterabbitgo.com.
Yeah. So because there are events and we do pop-up things, and so it's follow the rabbit is my little slogan I made. And
I love that. Follow the bouncing rabbit.
Yeah.
If I won't keep you too much longer, but I do want to ask, because you have tried a lot of different things. Some have been more successful than others. And would you say what keeps you going? What have you learned? Because I know a lot of people here watching were maybe thinking about trying something new, a second act career, or you've been working on something that's not working, you're getting frustrated. What kind of advice would you have for people?
Well, there's that old saying that you should throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks to know what's done. And that doesn't work for me because I like spaghetti al dente. And al dente doesn't stick. And so I just throw the spaghetti at the wall and I don't care what sticks and what doesn't. It's what I want to do. And
so you're just rolling the dice and going, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
Been gained. Would you say that's a good way to sum that up?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I told you I like to read nonfiction, and it's truly because I like to learn new things, and I've always been the person who jumps in with 2 feet when I want to learn something new. And gosh, if I just can't imagine not doing that until I'm like dead. Um, and it can be a problem. People have called me a sparkle brain, and I don't know if they mean that as a compliment or not, but I think it's a polite way to say ADD. And,
I kind of like sparkle
and
brain better. Ah,
yeah, so
but that's
uh,
part of being a creative too, isn't it? I mean, 'cause there's always, oh, and I could do this, and oh, I could do that. There's always
yeah,
something, that you could be doing. So
yeah, that's
that's,
that's that's a blessing and a curse because I always have an idea, and if you want some ideas, I'll hand you a few because I don't have time to do everything.
oh, there
But
you go, guys.
yeah,
Are you going to be at these events? So if they want to get some ideas from Terry, they
sure.
can.
I say
Uh,
everyone has a right to my opinion, so who am I to withhold their opinion, their rights, you know? So if
I
you ask
love that. Oh my gosh. Well, hey guys, before I forget, speaking of opinions, I'm still looking for a couple things. I would love to see some more reviews for Love on the Shelf up on Amazon, guys. And that's been out a couple weeks or so now, and it would be really fun to kind of boost those numbers. So if you've read the book and liked it, I hope you'll just hop on there, even if you only say, I thought this was kind of fun. And you can, I won't be offended if you say I did not like Parker Black, because a lot of people don't, and they're very happy when he gets his lesson at the end of the book. But feel free to do that. Also, a couple of you have taken me up on the offer and posted a picture of yourself reading the book on social media. If you haven't done that yet, do it. Tag me. And I know some of you are camera shy. Oh, I don't want anybody to see my hair looks bad, or oh my gosh, whatever, my house has to look perfect. No, it doesn't. And just post. You can hide behind the book cover, or post a picture of your husband reading the book, or your boyfriend, or your favorite fur baby. But let's get those up. And I see some of those. I do have a fun prize in mind for somebody. And it's kind of a fun one. And if nobody wants it, I'll take it. Actually, though, we've had a couple of you posts, so I'm going to have to be a good little bunny and give away that prize. But remember to do that. And those of you who have posted, Eileen, I see you've reviewed, a lot of you have. And thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. But also now keep in mind these upcoming events with White Rabbit Book Co. And check them out here on Facebook. And those of you who are Washingtonians, Pacific Northwest, come hang out and visit with Susan and myself. And I know you had another author also on your speaking lineup. Who was that?
yeah, so there's Jennifer Bardsley. She's kind of done a combination of self-publishing and traditional publishing shows, and she does workshops about that if you are interested in writing. She's done the whole gambit. And then there's Julie Farley, who's fairly new, traditional published author. She has a series of like fairy themed books.
Oh, those are so popular right now. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the titles, of course, but
that's
know,
okay. So
Fairy
lots of
Merry
different
Christmas or something
different
like
people
that.
to come see.
Yeah,
So mark your calendars now, guys. And I know everybody's getting antsy to go make dinner or go watch your favorite show or just go to bed. So we will let Terry, we'll turn him loose. But thank you so much, Terry, for taking time to visit with us. It's been really fun. And I hope you've been inspired. Those of you who are still thinking, I should try something. Well, get in touch with your inner Terry and try something, because it might become something really cool. You never know, right?
right.
All right, just said goodbye to our Insta people and all my Facebook gang. Thanks for joining us, and be sure and help me out with some reviews and posts on social. And I will just love you forever. Actually, I love you forever anyway. And thanks for joining us. And do check out whiterabbit.com. It's just very cool. If nothing else, check out the logo. It's so adorable.